H hips, beautiful. What's going on? Hey, Miss Sandra, how you been? So, if just say for instance, let me use myself. Just say for instance, if I was to get into a poly relationship, it of course, be probably with a man and a woman, or it would be with two men, or I would just say a man and a woman because some guys, they ain't rocking like that, right? But I definitely would have to be a person that would be physically attracted to the woman that is going to be in that poly relationship because guess what? We're all going to be in the relationship. So, what Kevin has is not necessarily a poly relationship.
Actually, it is. We're the most traditional, in fact. Let me enlighten you with information that's actually readily available to you. What we have is a patriarchal polygyny for legacy, which is a man and two heterosexual wives. Heterosexual wives. Here it says, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it." Genesis 1 and 28. So this is the traditional lineage based upon the polygyny model. The dynamic looks like this. The structure is one man, two or more heterosexual women. Their sexual roles. The women are not intimate with each other. Intimacy is only with the man. So no, they do not have to be attracted to one another because the purpose, as you can see, is legacy, lineage, protection, and cooperation. The spiritual symbolism is think like a lion pride. The male protects, the male lion protects, he leads, he passes down lineage, and the lionesses work in unity to provide, nurture, and build. Now, the key characteristics are the wives each see each other as sisters, not lovers. Notice Lacey and Jamie call each other sister wives. Okay. Next, there's a mutual respect, but not a romantic affection between the two women. The man carries the spiritual mantle of leadership. Each wife has her own bedroom schedule and a personal covenant with the man. Legacy is paramount in this dynamic. Children, land, structure, and values are the central reason for this relationship. Okay. The analogy, it's like the sun and the moon. Each wife reflects a different light in the same sky. They orbit the same source, and their roles are distinct and powerful. The next is what you're referring to, which is a throuple, a triad with romantic and sexual connections between all three. So this is the triad relationship where all three are romantically and sexually involved. The structure, one man, two bisexual or pansexual women. Their sexual roles, all three are intimate one with the other. Now, the purpose, emotional connection, companionship, and often exploration. The key characteristics here, emphasis on shared affection, often equal romantic investments between all parties. This dynamic often lacks a clear headship. Some are led by the man, others strive on equality. The bond between the two women is romantic and sometimes stronger than their bond even with the man. Now, their bodies became one not because of duty, but because of desire. So this is an unwritten scroll of human nature. Now, this analogy, like a braided rope, all strands are intertwined. The strength depends on mutual tension and trust. But there are potential risks, it says. The potential risks are as follows. Jealousy can arise if one partner feels left out. Without defined leadership, decision-making can become chaotic. If the romantic bond between the women becomes stronger than that with the man, it can shift the power dynamic. Now, the third is called the V, polyamory, man with two women who aren't involved with each other. Let's dig into that one. In this model, it's very similar to the first, but it can vary because of the intention. So the structure is one man and two women, but the women aren't involved with each other. Okay, sexual roles, no intimacy between the women. But the purpose varies. It can be love, it can be companionship, or exploration, but that's rather than lineage. This differs from the legacy-based polygyny in that the focus isn't on structure of children, but often on emotional fulfillment. The man may not be a head or leader, but simply a shared partner. The dynamic is often fluid, with unclear long-term vision. Now, the analogy, like two branches reaching towards the same sun, they don't touch, but they are connected to the same root. Now, fourth is a quad or group polyamory, which is multiple people all romantically or sexually involved. Let's tap into that one. The structure for this one is 4 or more individuals, any gender or any combination. Sexuality roles. Everyone may be sexually and emotionally involved with each other. The purpose is often centered around exploration, emotional openness, and freedom. Key characteristics. High communication demand, often lacks hierarchy, as it is egalitarian in nature. Children and legacy are rarely the focus. Fluidity is embraced, and partners may date outside the group. The analogy on this one is like a coral reef. It's alive, colorful, and interconnected, but it's easily disturbed if the balance is lost. The next is 5, a relationship anarchy. Each soul drinks according to its own thirst. That's a Sufi saying. It says that this is the most decentralized form of polyamory. The structure, there's no rules except what each person agrees to in each connection. Sexual roles, any form, no assumed labels or expectations. Purpose, radical autonomy and emotional freedom. Key characteristics, each relationship is unique. There is no hierarchy. No lover isn't necessarily less important than a longtime partner. Okay, high emotional intelligence is required, often spiritual, artistic, or philosophical in nature. Analogy, like the wind, it flows wherever it wants, invisible, powerful, and not to be caged. Now here's a comparison. As you can see, it is showing you where each wives are involved. No, yes, varies. It shows the male headship, yes, in the first one, sometimes no and no in the other ones, okay? Scroll back over so you can see what you're looking at. It's talking about the models on the far left. Traditional polygyny, triad, V polyamory, quad group poly, and relationship anarchy, okay? So as you can see, each one is different and unique in their own way. I don't believe either are to be judged, but I do believe research should be had before having these types of conversations on other people's unions and dynamics. My question is, why not just speak on the concept of polygyny without using my family to exploit how we live and how we love? I don't think it's necessary. I believe that you guys hate or whatever it is that you're doing has caused you to focus on my family with the intent to smear its reputation and its legacy. But I think you should just focus on polygamy or polyamory as a whole if that's your goal, okay? But my final thought is, it says here, to everything there's a season and a time and every purpose, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Just as a tree grows in different shapes depending on their environment, so too do relationship structures. The question is not just what form are you in, but what fruit are you bearing? Some poly relationships are like oak trees, rooted in generational enduring. Others are like a wild vine, exploratory, beautiful, in motion, but hard to anchor. And some are like bonsai, uniquely pruned, intimate, and spiritually disciplined. Each has its place. But if you're building for legacy, spiritual discipline, and divine design, the patriarchal polygyny model is the one most aligned with nature, scripture, and ancestral wisdom. All right, until next time.